All right. Oh, so I'm checking in now. I don't know how else to I don't know how to start. It's kind of awkward to start. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have an intro, and it's just awkward to start. That's all I'm gonna say. But I think it would be fair to start this episode off with doing a get to know me. Now, I'm not going to lie. I did this, tried to record like a second episode already, and I didn't like it. And I didn't like it because it's kind of the same thing I did before when I tried to do this the first time. It was fast, I was speaking really fast, I was kind of frantic, I was all over the place, and that is fine. Sometimes that's okay. And that's kind of what I want to start with. Like, I tend to speak fast, or if you really, when I'm comfortable with someone and I start to talk to them, I will get into detail about my day, and it will be all over the place, and I will jump from one thing to another, and that's kind of just how I am. But I don't really want to be like that. I don't want to be frantic, because every time I try to record something, I am not happy with the result, because I feel like I'm not getting everything I want to say out, and I'm not saying what I actually mean, or I'm just miscommunicating, and it's really frustrating. So the purpose of this is to kind of just heal my self-esteem and to grow my communication skills. And that is what I'm going to try to do. So this space is basically me just cultivating that, and me trying to get better and kind of be articulate and comprehensive and be happy with how I communicate and come across. So yeah, I wrote some notes on my notepad, and yeah, I don't know if I stated this, but yeah, we're doing a get to know me because I think it's fair for me to explain what you're getting into when you decide to listen to this, or if you come across it. So, okay, I think the first thing I want to say, something easy, something simple. We're going to start with my zodiac signs, my big three. Something, very surface level. So I am a Virgo sun, a Scorpio moon, and a Cancer rising. Those are my big three placements. So 1 earth sign and 2 water signs. And my favorite out of those 3 is going to be my Scorpio moon. I love, love, love my Scorpio moon. And sometimes it is a bit too much. It's a strong placement, but I just love it because I feel like I can be a little boring, or I used to think I was pretty boring. That's just a thought I used to have about myself. But my Scorpio moon is she's a little spicy. She spices things up sometimes. Something else I want to say is that I've lived in 3 different places. So I was born in New York, and I lived there till I was 13. Then I moved to Florida, and then for a quick second, I lived in California for a couple of months. And sometimes I think my vernacular and my accent from each area kind of blends. It hasn't happened in a while, but I'll be hanging out with a friend, and they're also from the East Coast, and they'll point out every now and then when I say a random word in a New York accent, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. But I feel like sometimes, yeah, my vernacular kind of just blends all 3 of those together. So yeah. What else? Oh, I repeat my words. I have done this since I can remember. It came out strong when I was in middle school. And the reason I wrote this down is because when I was trying to record this episode, I kept repeating my words and repeating myself. And it's something I did, like I said, like in middle school. And I remember someone would point it out. And I don't know why I do it. It just happened. So if you hear myself repeating my words, or just like repeating something that I just said, just go with it. I'm not quite sure why I do it. I think I do it. I think it's just filler, like filler words, filler placements. I'm not completely sure. I feel like my head is way ahead of itself, which, let me explain that a little. I think for a long time, I need to turn the fan on. Hold up. It's a bit hot in here. For a long time, I was not very expressive and very talkative. And I think that definitely has shaped how I am today. Because, like, when I was younger, I didn't say much. I was very shy. I was very reserved. I kept to myself. When I moved from New York to Florida, my freshman year, I like to say that I was basically mute. Didn't really talk unless I was spoken to. Didn't have any friends, to be honest. I was also very sad because that move was a big change for me, and it takes a while for me to get situated and adjusted, and it just affected me pretty deeply. So I wasn't the most talkative, and I tend to feel like my head is just, it's able to process my thoughts, obviously, because where are my thoughts coming from? They're coming from my head. But when what I think is not what comes out of my mouth, because what comes out is something that's way more like two-dimensional, way more simple, way more just not articulate. When I feel like my head may be doing a bit more work than what I'm showing. So what else? 99% of the time, I say I don't know out of habit. Out of habit, but usually that 99% of the time I do know what's going on, whether it be someone asking me what's wrong, or if I know what happened to something, I don't know. See, but I usually do know. Again, I just say that out of habit. Sometimes I don't want to explain myself or explain how I feel. And I tend to just say I don't know, which isn't, and I think it just comes out of or sometimes it's from self-doubt, which I don't really like to say, because I say I don't know a lot when I really can just take the time to explain myself and give myself the space to talk. I've always struggled with giving myself space, whether it be physical space, or metaphorical space. So let's see. I have starred here. I have a hard time recording because I don't like how I come across, which I kind of already talked about. And let's see. Anything else? I struggle with expressing my complexity. I feel like I'm a bit complex. I don't know what it is. I'm very much more emotional than I am than I am mental. And I think that's why it also may be hard for me to express myself, because my expression comes from feelings rather than words. But on the other hand, if you hear like rattling and like that little bell sound, I'm with my like house cat. I don't want to say my cat, but like our family cat. So yeah, she's just rattling and all. But what was I going on about? Oh, I also think that it's ironic because I also think that I tend to think in words rather than pictures. I remember a long, long time ago, a couple years ago probably, I found out through TikTok, when TikTok first started coming up, I found out that people either think in words or pictures, and I'm pretty sure I think in words. And it's ironic because how am I to think in words if I can never find the words to say? But at the same time, I am pretty emotional. My emotions are always in the driver's seat, and it's something I struggle with because I come to find out your emotions aren't supposed to be in the driver's seat and determine how your overall day goes, I guess. Like, we're allowed to feel our emotions, but like if we're sad and we're stuck in this like sadness, we're not supposed to just like sit in it. We're kind of meant to work through it. So yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that. Anything else? I kind of said I'm a fast talker. I feel like I'm always rushing to say what I want to say. So in this recording, I'm gonna try to speak a little slower, give myself the time to talk, give myself the time to process my thoughts. And then overall, I think the goal here throughout this, what I'm doing, is to just consciously think. I think that's what I need to do, because if I consciously think, I'm able to minimize the amount of filler words I'm using, minimize the amount of pauses, and like the amount of times I say I know I'm saying it a lot, and I say I feel a lot, or I say I feel like, and I say like a lot, and all those kinds of things. But if I'm consciously thinking, I'm able to minimize that and truly work my brain a little more to get a grasp of what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that is a little bit about myself. I think I'm not gonna lie, I think I did pretty good. Oh my god, it's going well. It's going well. So, wait, I'm kind of excited. Okay, that's kind of all I wrote. I touched on everything. Look at me, touching on everything. Now, in the last episode, I was talking about how I'm going to be taking the time to make time for oh my god. No, I'm not about to say time for the third time. Oh god. I said it more than 3 times. Fucking hell. Okay, hold up. Rewind. In the last episode, I talked about making time with nurturing my friendships. I have like 2 friends that will be moving soon. One is going to be moving a couple hours away back home, I believe. And the other one is going to just be moving a bit farther than where they already are. So that's a bit upsetting. But for the time being, I also think, listen, my family's also trying to move, so. But moving on, I'm trying to spend more time with my friends. I haven't really, I think I touched on this last time, but this is like the first time in my life where where I have like, I want to say a couple of friends, maybe like 3 that I have met and willingly choose to hang out with and spend my energy with and I'm comfortable around and have fun with. I think for the first time in a while, I hang out with these people and I don't feel like drained, but instead more boosted with energy and happy with my social interactions. Now it kind of takes time because like the first time you hang out with someone, depending on how the hangout goes, but if it goes well, of course you're gonna like feel good and energized and like have a bit of like a social boost. There's two different types of people. People who wind down, and hold up, someone told me this. It's people who like wind down or are, I don't know what word he used though. I'll do it in my own words. I'll use the concept of a social meter. So there's 2 types of people. People whose social meter goes up when they hang out with people, and people whose social meter goes up when they are by themselves. And I've always been the type of person who recharges, there we go, recharges by themselves. And when I finally got the chance to like recharge with someone else by hanging out with them, it was such a good feeling. But of course, when you hang out with someone for the first time, maybe the first couple of times, like, it's gonna feel good, but at some point you're gonna hit like maybe like a little blockage or a little stunt, because you have to kind of keep nurturing those friendships and maybe dig a little deeper and try to like grow into them and grow with them, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna start doing with the time I have with my friends, and also yeah, with myself, I guess. But yeah, how did I get into this? Oh yeah, so this week was the 4th of July, and I messaged my friend asking them if they had any plans, because they are very sociable. Like, I don't know, when I think about them, I think they're like a social butterfly, and I feel like they're always out. But I messaged them asking if they had any 4th of July plans, and if they did, like, if I can tag along. And then the next day we were kind of talking about it, and we ended up hanging out. Obviously, we ended up hanging out, and we ended up just going to the park where they were having like this event for the 4th of July and like a quick fireworks show. And I ended up inviting my other friend. Now I can get very like, well, I invited 2 people and 2 other people, and only one of them showed. And I am very like, I get nervous inviting people to things or just making plans with people. But specifically like inviting people to things, because I kind of set the phone down. I'm not using a mic again. Like, we're still raw dogging this audio. So, I'm sorry if it's very inconsistent. If the sound is very inconsistent. But, moving on. So yeah, I get nervous making plans with other people because I'm like scared of rejection, kind of. It definitely triggers something from my childhood, like just the disappointment of being rejected, like, makes me a little sad. Why are cats, well, this cat especially is, I won't say anything mean about you. You know what? I won't say anything mean about you. because I usually do say some not nice things about you. But you know what? I won't this time. Jesus Christ. Why are cats so fucking mean sometimes? But that one's just always on something. She's just like that. She's like a Sour Patch Kid, truly. But anyways, I had a good time on the 4th of July. Last year, I didn't really do anything. I was back home because I came back from California, and I was just with my family, but it was really boring. And I, like, made some cranberry vodkas and was drinking that, and I was like, this is so boring. Like, this is making me sleepy. These fireworks are boring. So I decided to get out of the house. That happens a lot, where, like, an event, events go out, like, national holidays happen, and usually people will, like, make plans and party and hang out with their friends, and then I'm just, like, at home, because I don't really care that much about what's going on, I guess. And then it's like, okay, I'm bored, and I don't really care that much because I don't really ever do anything, and that's kind of what I'm trying to change. So yeah, hung out on the 4th of July, and it was nice. We enjoyed the fireworks. We walked around. I bought a really overpriced pina colada. I saw someone walking around with, like, a full-on pineapple, and they were drinking out of it, and I was like, I want that. So we went on a mission to find it, and we ended up finding it. I spent $15 on it, and it was free refills. And yes, it was free refills, but they didn't want to give me a free refill. Like, the lady, like, they were speaking in Spanish. There was a man and a woman, and the woman was talking about, like, the free refills, and then the man was like, no, like, don't tell her about the free refills. And they're speaking in Spanish, but I can understand. I don't speak fluent Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I could try and I could learn and I can say some words, but my accent is horrible because I don't speak Spanish. And I'm very, like, sheepish trying to speak Spanish, so it's just like I get embarrassed. But I can understand a pretty good amount of it. And the man was like, no, like, just don't tell her, don't say anything about the free refills. And while he's saying that, I was like, and I mentioned it. So I was like, can I get a free refill? And I was like, no. So I was like, am I going to get a free refill? And he just looked at me and didn't say anything. Like, he just completely ignored me as if he didn't understand what I was saying. And maybe he didn't, or maybe he didn't hear me. But at the same time, like, you didn't want to give me a free refill? And I feel like I should have pushed him. Not, like, physically, but, like, pushed him to, like, give me my free refill because I just spent $15 on this overpriced pina colada. And that same night, I lost my credit card. So that was a bummer. And I didn't find out until the day after. But it was all good. The pina colada was pretty good and refreshing because it was hot as hell over there. Like, there was a lot of heated ass bodies around me. So it was hot. And it's the Florida heat and the Florida humidity. And you just don't ever catch a fucking break from the heat. It is dark. It will be nighttime and dark, and it will still be hot as heck and humid, and it's inescapable. Like, the one thing about me is I can't stand the heat. It makes me panic. Does anyone else panic from the heat? It can't just be me. Because, hold up, I'm gonna feed this cat. So, it can't just be me. It makes me aggravated. Oh, oops. no. Oh, sorry, Sage. Oh, frick. I put it in the wrong bowl. It's okay. Wet food. You can enjoy that, right? I bet it will taste even yummier. Let's see if she'll eat it. I think it's fine. Oh, she's not eating it. Wait. I think she's confused. Oh, okay. Let me put it in the right bowl. Anyways. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. I switched rooms, and now I'm with my doggy. Doggy boy. But yeah, I was talking about the heat. Heat makes me mad, makes me panic. I have to, like, compose myself in the afternoon when I walk my dog because it is brutal. Brutal. What else have I done recently? Oh, I made a bucket list. I'm going to encourage everyone to make a bucket list. In the first recording, I recorded myself making the bucket list, like writing it. But don't worry, it was pretty uneventful. I only wrote 3 things, and I will read out I'm not gonna read it out. I don't have it here, but I remember what I wrote. So the first one was to play the drums at least once. Now let me explain my reasoning behind this. I feel like I would be pretty damn good at the drums. Because when and this is why. Because when I listen to some songs, listen to some music, I will air drum the hell out of the air. I will just air drum, and it seems fun. It seems so fun. And listen, just give me the drumsticks and let me just mess around with the drums at least once. So that's on my bucket list. The next thing, did I write this? Oh yeah, I did. The next thing was to go on a surfboard. Learn how to surf. Maybe not learn how to surf, but like go on a surfboard. Okay, maybe learn how to surf. Catch a wave. I love how it's just bare minimum. Let me play the drums once. Let me catch a wave once. I have a neighbor whose dog is friends with my dog, and like when they see each other, they'll like play and roughhouse and all that. And it's really nice, really fun, really cute. But he was talking to me, and he was saying how he went to the beach and like was surfing. And I was like, oh, like, how long have you been surfing for? And this man said 33 years. 33 years. He's been, no, I don't have any hobbies. Like, when I think about the hobbies that I have, the only one that really comes up to my mind is, like, I will pull some tarot cards. Like, I'm that kind of girl. I'll pull some tarot cards, and like, is watching things a hobby? I don't think that's really a hobby. And if it is, I need a better hobby. Like, I need a better one. I need to go touch some grass. But surfing is his hobby, and he's been doing it for so long. And I think it would be so cool to try to get on a surfboard. Now, it's probably really hard, honestly, but I bet, like, when you find your balance and stand on one and, like, you are quite literally riding a wave and almost walking on water, I bet it feels so cool. So, yeah, ride a surfboard, which I think I have my whole life to do. I can even plan a trip one day, or I can go somewhere and I can plan to like learn how to surf or take a surfing lesson, and I have my whole life to do that. well, and that is the point of the bucket list. Now, I feel like the plan is to, now the reason I wanted, and honestly, when he told me about the surfing, that's what kind of sparked me to want to write a bucket list, because I feel like I have lived for 20 years, almost 21, and I have not really done anything, which is a bit upsetting and very anticlimactic and uneventful. So, I think if I at least try to cross one thing a year, or one thing every 2 years, or just go out and have some experiences, that's all I could ask for, honestly. So, yeah, and then the last thing I put on my list, I didn't really want to put places on my list because I feel like that would be more of a travel list, but I started thinking about like flower fields, because I have like a flower poster in my room and I'm looking at it right now, and I was like, oh, like I'd love to go in a flower field, like go visit a flower field, like I bet that's beautiful. And I'm a nature whore. I love beautiful views and just serene places. And when I think of like rich, grassy, green areas, for some reason, I think of New Zealand. And New Zealand was the first place that popped in my head. And I was like, oh no, that seems too far-fetched. And it almost felt as if I was selling myself short. And selling myself short is something that I seem to do a lot, pretty often. And do you hear my dog? He's breathing. I'm sorry. If you hear him, that's if you hear that noise, that's him. But I seem to sell myself short pretty often, and I didn't really like that, and that's kind of what we're trying to fight and grow from. So I decided to write visit New Zealand on my bucket list, and that's all there. That's all there is. Those are the 3 things. And it was a little sad because there was only 3 things, but it's something that you can just add on to throughout, and hopefully while you're adding things, you cross things out as well. So I encourage everyone to do a bucket list. If you're someone who's like me and who doesn't really go out and like does a lot of things, or feel like they haven't lived very excitingly, figure out the things that you want to do, whether it be big or small, and go do them. Allow yourself to do them, and give yourself the time to do them. So, yeah. What else do I have? Recently I went to the beach, and I love the water. The best part of the beach is the ocean. I used to be a beach hater, I will admit. I was a bit of a beach hater. Forgive me. I was not comfortable with myself being at the beach. It was always hot, me and the sun don't have the best relationship, but, and then there's sand everywhere. But when I moved to California for a little, I realized the things that I missed, and the beach was one of them, because I didn't go to the beach while I was there. I was in Northern California, and it's a bit cold up there, and I think the West Coast beaches are just cold in general. So I never really visited the beach, and I think the sand there was just rocks instead. But anyways, so when I came back, I was just thinking about the beach, and I didn't go when I first came, and then it took me a couple months to finally go, and I went with a friend, and I think that was the first time we hung out one-on-one. And it was so fun. We didn't go in the water. But it was just so fun to be there. I mean, we were there while it was nighttime, and it was such a good time. I absolutely loved it. And ever since then, I kind of just adore the beach now. I'm a beach girly. I don't look like a beach girly, but I really do like the beach. And I mostly just being in the water and being in the ocean. Because when you're in the middle of the water, one, it just feels so nice to swim with the waves. But also, like, when you're in the middle of the water, it's just you, the water, and the sky. And it just feels like it's endless. And that is such a nice, freeing feeling. And I live for that. Oh, I live for that so much. It makes me happy. So yeah, also it's really tempting. I don't want to say this because it sounds really bad, but it's kind of tempting to just drift away. Now, would I survive? No. And that's kind of the point, just to drift away. But if drowning wasn't such a painful way to die, hey, let me drift away. And hopefully, if it wasn't a painful way to die, and if it didn't take time, that's how I would want to go out. But yeah, don't worry, I'm not gonna do that. Don't do that either. Don't advise. But moving on. What else? Beach, ocean, and then that same day, I went over to my friend's apartment. Same friend I went to the beach with. Same friend I went to the beach with the first time that I was talking about. Does that make sense? Oh, God. But I went over to his place, and they play bass and are in a band. And they play bass, but they also have an electric guitar. So I picked up that and started messing with it, and it was, just started messing with the guitar. I think the guitar is my favorite instrument. Keep in mind, I do not know how to play the guitar. Oh my God. Excuse me. But I love listening to the electric guitar in songs. It's just so nice to my ears. It's so good to listen to. I absolutely adore it. So, yeah. And I think I'm going to go over again and mess with the guitar some more and kind of just learn some chords, I guess. And I think that'll be fun. Here I am, picking up some hobbies. Also, I have on this notepad, okay. It goes hand in hand with the guitar, which is why I'm going to ask it. Does anyone know, Does anyone else know what alternative life they'd want to be living in? Like, do you guys just have something that you really, really like or connect with, and you're like, oh yeah, in another life I used to do that, or in another life that's what I want to do? Now, I've been watching, I already watched, I'm rewatching it, but Daisy Jones and the Six is something that I've watched recently, and it's basically like a Fleetwood Mac dupe, if you like Fleetwood Mac. It's also a book, and the book is basically inspired by that band and the lore that band has. And it is so good. I didn't buy the book. I looked at it today when I was at work, and I looked at like the book section because I want to get back into reading. And I skimmed through it, and I was like, this doesn't really seem like a book that's going to challenge me. I mean, every book is going to challenge me because I don't remember the last time I finished a book, so finishing the book is the challenge. But also, it was kind of just a lot of dialogue going on between like the Bandmates, and I already watched the show and I'm rewatching it. But it's on Amazon Prime Video. It's a series. It's 10 episodes long. It's really good. I was like giddy. I was so giddy watching it because I love that kind of music. I love music. I love rock and roll kind of music. It's very much like folk rock, but it's so good. And yeah, I enjoyed. But anyways, I want to be Daisy Jones so bad. I want to be her so bad. And like in another life, that's what I want. To be in a band. To be a fucking rock star. Please. Please. I hope I already have done that. And if I haven't, maybe next time. And now maybe you're like, why don't you do that now? And the reason is because I have never... The only instrument I have bought and played is a ukulele. Please. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'll learn the guitar, and that would be really fun. But I don't know any bands that I can join, and I don't think I have the best singing voice. Like, I have a mid voice. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, does anyone else have anything like that? Like, do you also want to be a rock star? Like, you can't tell me that doesn't sound fun. Rock star lifestyle? Please. Please. Yes, please. Or maybe like, what else? What else can there be? A movie star. Does anyone else want to be like an actress? A movie star? Well, like an actress is something that someone can do in this life. Or maybe like an old time movie star. You know what I mean? Like a Marilyn Monroe type. Or what else? I got nothing. That's all I got for now. And yeah, oh my god, guys, that's it. That's all I have. I think I think I have stated everything that I want to state, and I think that's kind of a first. And I did it while taking my time to talk, and hopefully I got everything I wanted to say out, so that when I listen to this, there's nothing I want to add. That's always the problem. I wonder if like other content creators have this problem, or is it just me? Like they'll watch something of theirs or listen to something of theirs and they're like, oh, that's not what I meant, or oh, I wanted to add on to this, or oh, like I miscommunicated with myself and how I expressed myself, because that is my struggle every time. But I think I did pretty well. This was exciting. This was fun. I hope it's not boring. Ah! Anyways, I think... I wanted to talk about books. I mentioned Daisy Jones and the Six. And I was looking more for like a memoir in books, which is why I didn't buy that book. But I did buy The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. That's not even a memoir. It's more of one of her novels. I never read anything from her. I've never read any of her pieces. And the first book I wanted to buy from her was the unadjourned, or some shit like the unadjourned journal of Sylvia Plath, something like that. But that was a pretty hefty book, and I want to read something that I'm going to finish, and I don't want to start big right now. So I got The Bell Jar, and it comes in tomorrow, so I'm going to start reading that. And I just want to get into reading again, because I think that would be the best way for me to one, extend my vocabulary, and two, try to conceptualize, is that the right word? To help conceptualize my thoughts. So, yeah, I'm gonna start getting into reading. That book is supposed to be like, well, all of the things that she's written is, one, supposed to be very well written, and two, like, to some people detrimental to their mental health, but like to others, I don't know, I haven't read it, but she's supposed to, like, she finds a way to express her mind so well, and that is what I want to read about. And I know that she was, like, mentally ill, and a lot of the things she write is, the theme is, like, mental illness, which I love. I love those kinds of themes. I hope that's, like, not insensitive to say, but I'm a very, like, over-analytical person, and I love looking into the deeper things and the deeper meaning into things, so stuff like that really intrigues me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Until next time, this was fun, and if you're listening, and if you've listened to this point, thank you. I hope you create a bucket list, and I hope you join next time. Alrighty. Have a great day, a great night, a great afternoon. Peace.